My name is Darlene Monday, and I am a pulmonary hypertension patient. About 2 years ago, I started getting real weak, short of breath, not able to do anything, and I thought, well, I'm just getting old. And then it got to the point that I'm like, I'm not just getting old, something's wrong. Because I would lay down at night in relaxation and just not able to breathe. Years ago, I was told that I had asthma. And I never heard myself wheezing or anything. And then the weakness and the brain fog is what really scared me, because I would be walking into a room and I'm like, you're lost. Your brain, you're just lost. And I know you go into a room and you forget something, what you go in there for, but this was different. So when I talked to my doctor about it, and I said, I'm really short of breath, and I think I'm having a nervous breakdown, and told her about the brain fog. I didn't know what it was called at that time. I said, I'm brain dead. I'm going brain dead, Through several different other months go by, I'd go to the doctor, and I'm just really tired, and I would have the chest pain, the chest shortness of breath, and the pain, the hard heartbeat, where it felt like you just feel it come out of your heart, your chest, which I have a heart condition that everybody has, AFib, and I've been seeing a cardiologist since 2012. And so when I'd see the cardiologist, he'd say, well, I really don't think it's your heart, but, he'd check me out and he'd say, you're fine, just go on home. And so finally, I was driving at the time, my job was driving a big articulating dump truck, 40-ton truck. And by the time I would climb up the stairs to get into it, I was severely out of breath. And the brain fog was coming more and more often. And I thought, I'm going to run over somebody and kill them in this big truck, or I'm going to run over the side of a mountain and kill myself, So I thought, something's got to give. So I go back to my primary care doctor. At that time, I'm working 3 jobs. And she says, well, Darlene, you're working 3 jobs. You're not going to feel good. Your body's not built to work 3 jobs. You've got to slow down. How can you get rest if you're working? So I gave up one of the jobs, and then I'm still just getting worse. And I take a shower, I'm tired, and I'm like, this is weird, So then I go to the heart doctor, and he says, okay, we're going to do a heart cath. So we do a heart cath in January, and he says, well, you've got pulmonary hypertension, but you've got to get your sleep apnea under control. He says, I've never had a patient to snore during a heart cath. I'm like, okay. So he sends me to my pulmonologist. And I thank God he sent me to who he did, because that pulmonologist was a PH accredited doctor. And so he says, well, we got to do the sleep study. Not a lot was said about PH at that time. To me, they was more concerned with the sleep apnea. So I get under the sleep apnea, CPAP, and then 3 months later, I'm progressively getting worse. And so my pulmonary doctor says, okay, wait. Because I'm crying at that point. I said, I am just so tired of being tired. He says, well, it's not the sleep apnea that's causing it. And he says, I have idiopathic pulmonary hypertension. Well, the next day I go to my cardiologist for the follow-up of my right heart cath. And he was like, you've got this horrible disease. It cannot be cured. The medicine's very expensive. You need to go ahead and see a lawyer and get your estate, get things in order. And he says, need to make out whether or not you want to do not resuscitate order. And, just painted this horrible picture. And the goal at that point was to make it through the first year. Of course, I'm bawling at that point. I'm like, he's telling me I'm dying. And he says, and you're going to go through the 5 stages of grief. And he says, you need to let your body feel that. And I'm like, I can't believe he's talking to me, that he's telling me this. And at first, the day before when I went to my pulmonologist, I was like, oh, now I was relieved to finally get a diagnosis as to what was wrong with me, and that I wasn't going crazy, that I wasn't having a nervous breakdown. But then after going to the cardiologist, I was thinking, how can I tell my kids and grandkids goodbye? I couldn't face that. And so a few months went by. For 3 months, I cried. I'm like, I can't tell them goodbye. I'm not ready to tell them goodbye. I'd planned on retirement and traveling. And, I'm single, so I've always been very independent. and too prideful to ask for help. And I can't believe this. So I stayed in denial for a while before I could tell anyone what was wrong. I could tell them, but I thought, well, they don't know what it is, so it's no big deal, you know. So I finally got a grip of things. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm okay. Whatever it is, God will take care of it. And through a lot of prayer, I came to accept what I've got. Whether I've got 1 year, whether I've got 5, I'm seeing people that's got the same thing I've got, that's lived for 10, 15, 20 years. So now it's been over a year, and I'm still alive, and I'm not near as sick as what was portrayed for me to be sick. I feel like I am still progressing, and I'm sure that's okay. We'll still find the medicine that's going to suit me. The positive things have been because, I am disabled now, and I've always had to work for band camps and concerts, and now I get to see my grandkids more and be more active in their lives. And that's what keeps me going. And the fact that I really, truly believe that the prayers are keeping me up. I mean, there's so many prayers that have been answered. To get medicine, to get money when I needed it. You really have to believe in a higher power, whatever your religion may be. My name is Darlene Monday, and I am aware that I am rare.